In one of my recent books, I offer a three-pronged solution. First, we need to strengthen the political discourse on debt. The above-mentioned situation analysis is not specific to the current government. Most governments in the past have shown weak resolve to streamline debt management in Pakistan. One could look at the economic chapters of manifestos of any mainstream political party. It just seems that the subject was too technical for the economic thinkers within these political parties, due to which in overall envisioned macroeconomic management, a scarce space was given to the remedial measures of debt dilemma. So in support with, of course, Saib and Mr. Hamad Siddiqui is here as well, we are working hard that before the next election comes up, this should be one of the key goals in our manifestos of political parties, that they should have a shared consensus on how they want to deal with debt. And we also know that most administrations, once in power, really appreciate the allowance which fungibility of debt provides them. Second, going back to the basics. My second proposal is to revisit the comprehensive exercise which was done by Debt Reduction and Management Committee in 2001. The report called for going back to the basics, and the overarching message was not to make debt a pillar of public finance, rather reduce the rate of future borrowing, reduce larger losses of state-owned enterprises. The committee had also provided specific suggestions on improving effectiveness of government expenditures, especially the use of borrowed resources. Also, the committee had called for monitoring systems to effectively review and monitor progress on debt, including on contingency management in context of a rolling medium-term macroeconomic framework. Unfortunately, we today work with three different macroeconomic frameworks, and I invite you to look at the macroeconomic framework prepared by Ministry of Finance, Planning Commission, and State Bank of Pakistan, all three at a variance. The third prong here is to strengthen the demand side accountability, which is important for future regulation of debt in Pakistan. The Open Government Partnership, or OGP as we call it, is a multilateral initiative to promote transparency and bring government and citizens on the same page. Pakistan has twice missed the deadline to submit its commitments under OGP. The current government can demonstrate a bold stance by committing to form a steering committee having participation of government and independent experts to oversee Pakistan's debt portfolio. My final word. So when we talk with friends in the government, and of course for a very long time I was part of the government, how has the thinking on debt development interface changed? And I often sort of question myself and of course ask them for advice. Is debt really the best way to finance development? And by development, I really mean infrastructure here, because that's what we are told, that debt will be essential going forward if you want infrastructure. Now here's the second publication which I invite you to have. In 2016, using a CGE model, we in fact showed that financing infrastructure in Pakistan through foreign debt versus local taxes, and how does that impact the macroeconomic framework. In the longer run, both may have the same macroeconomic impact. However, in the shorter term, financing from international borrowing had a Dutch disease effect, as we call it, which led to the decline in long-term exports. And we also call for continuous improvement in own revenue generation capacity, precisely due to the same reason.